Hi, sustainability folks. My name is Jen Cole, and I have been here for 13 years. I've been through all of the directors we've had and was here even before we had a director. I came from Harvard's Earth and Planetary Sciences program and found a much better fit in the Extension School. Very happy here. I teach a number of courses, including wetland, mineral resources course. I teach a couple of food and agriculture course. I've been teaching the independent research capstone. My story really is that I have a PhD in earth science and I specialized in groundwater and wetlands. And so that's where I started my wetland course. And when I was at Northeastern, where I had been for also about 12 years, there was a faculty member who didn't get tenure. And my chair came to me in a panic and said, "Can you teach natural disasters?" And I said, "Of course I can," which requires a little bit of, I don't know, hubris, because this expression that when you have a bachelor's, you know a little bit about a lot. When you have a master's, you know a lot about a little. And when you have a PhD, you know everything about nothing. And so a lot of faculty are so pigeonholed into one specific thing that it is terrifying for them, as it was me, to be thinking about atmospheric processes and tectonic processes and surficial processes. But I taught it and taught it with great effect for many years. I think I've been teaching it for about 20 years now. I always keep it very up to date. And I've written 3 or 4 books on natural disasters. So that's one of my babies. From there, I started looking at agriculture because it seems that a lot of water pollution, especially in wetlands, comes from agriculture. So I started publishing in agriculture, especially meat and animal products. And from there, I started looking at energy and energy systems. I teach at Johns Hopkins in their sustainable energy program. And then recently I've gotten back to my roots and looking at mineral resources and energy from a mining point of view. But that's me. I have a website. It is jenniferriverscole.com if you're interested in seeing more about my publications right here. Right here. So you can go to this website, jenniferriverscole.com, and you can see more about me. You can see where I was educated, my awards and grants and publications and all that kind of stuff, whatever. The 2 things that I did want to show you are, first of all, per Jess's request, is my course in natural disasters that's over J-term. If you're looking for a course to take, excited. There's already, I think, 15 people, and there's a great number, but I could fit a couple more in there. So maybe I'll show you the module. The modules show you a lot about this course. So there's a little bit of pre-course work that you can do. You don't have to, but you can because it's such a fast-paced course. It's 3 weeks long. And then one day, President's holiday, we have Monday through Thursday, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. But then the second week, we don't have that Monday because of the holiday. So it's for 11 days and you get the maximum number of credits for the course. Yay. In this class, we look at earth materials, so sedimentary, igneous, metamorphic rocks, and minerals from the perspective of disasters happen on Earth. And so the minerals and the materials are really important. A tsunami isn't going to devastate certain coastlines the way it might others because of the minerals. So then we look at tectonic processes, the basics of tectonics, and the disasters that come from that: earthquake, tsunami, and volcano. So we do tsunami, we do earthquakes, and we do volcanoes. I have a bunch of guest lecturers who are really cool. And then we do weather and climate basics. So what is weather? What is climate? And then we look at the violent weather, hurricanes, tornadoes, and thunderstorms. And we have a gentleman from NOAA come in. Then we have rivers and flooding. So once the rain falls, it comes to the surface, and there's a lot of damage that gets done to earth and human structures as a result of rivers and flooding. The thing is, these disasters, as you maybe are starting to see, they're natural processes. That's what happens when you have an atmosphere. That's what happens when you have the fact that inside of Earth is partially molten. It's not that these things happen that are bad. It's that we live in the paths of these things. So then we look at the surface of Earth from a landslides, avalanches, mass wasting point of view. And then we have the day off. Then we do, I guess, our catch-all of wildfire, drought, pandemics, and famine. And then we look at meteorite impacts, population increase, and climate change. And then we are done with the class. So it goes on really quickly. And it is fun. We do a series of student-led discussions, essentially, and there's some labs. So I don't know if Tom Kiley, he is the TA. He is fabulous. It's really exciting to be working with him. So that is natural disasters. And then I'll just show you where is I think this is unpublished still. Another course that I have been asking for years, people, years. Can I teach a class on the Farm Bill? Can I teach a class on the Farm Bill? And directors, chairs, wherever I am, always say, no, no one would take it. That's boring. Can I teach a class on the Farm Bill? So when Michael Mortimer first joined us, I came to his office just to meet him. And I said, hey, teach a class on the Farm Bill. And I was delighted. He said, yeah, but you're not calling it the Farm Bill because no one will take it. So this is a course on the Farm Bill, but it is called Food and Greed, and I'm offering that in spring, and it's done the same way. So you see there's some pre-course materials. We look at an introduction to the Farm Bill. We look at immigration really in the news now, and we look at it from an economic perspective. We look at it from a social justice perspective. It is fascinating to talk about immigration. And then we look at the history of food policy. And then we look at crop subsidies and tariffs. We have great guest lecturers in this class as well. And then we look at nutrition, SNAP benefits, pesticides, healthy eating. Another great Dr. Rosa, she's phenomenal. And then we look at agricultural pollution. We look at agribusiness, big business, Cargill, et cetera, versus local farms. Then we look at animals as food. We have a professor of mine, Megan Wells, who's a veterinarian, talk about food animals. Fascinating. Then we have spring break. Then we look at job creation, trade, and alternatives to the way that we do things now. And then we talk about reforming the Farm Bill. This guy, Austin Furrick, fabulous. He's the author of this book called Food Barons. And then we look at conservation, how to do it right, ecosystem-based agriculture. Then we look at national security and also soil. And we have guest speaker attorney Rumley, who's from the National Agricultural Law Center. He's also great. Then we look at essentially energy, ethanol, fossil fuels, and climate change. And then in week 13, we look at wetlands in agriculture, near and dear to my heart. Then we look at socially just and sustainable food solutions and how do we make things really sustainable for the future. And then we have a final exam and the final paper. And we have student-led discussions that go on throughout the course of the semester. So that's it. I'm trying to keep this short. And I really hope that you'd consider taking courses with me, or if not, connect with me in some way. My email is jcole01@fas.harvard.edu. I am so thrilled that you're here with us in the Extension School, in the LM major, or whatever it is that you're doing. And I would be really happy to talk to you about career advice, about where you should go next, about courses, about anything that strikes your fancy. It's my favorite thing to talk to students one-on-one. So please reach out, and I hope you have a great holiday season and a wonderful 2026.